Welcome back. I'm going to show you something that I've already done, but I'm going to show you how it works since I did this before I started videoing. I got a roller up here and I've got a ratchet down here. Here, let me aim it for you. Oh, I think that's got the ratchet. Okay. So I got the roller up high, I got the ratchet down low, and this is for a strap, but I use it for a rope, and it works really well. I'll show you that when we get to it. Exactly the same setup on this side, roller up high. This one's got a little bit of an angle to it. I'll explain all that in a little bit. And then I've got the ratchet down low. These are 6x6 posts. They are cemented into the ground. They are cemented 3 feet deep. When I knew that I was going to be putting up a very large sun sail, I knew that I wanted to have plenty of strength to hold it in place. I wasn't too worried about pulling the house apart, but I wanted to make sure that the poles weren't going to loosen up in the ground, start causing problems in the future. We do occasionally have some pretty good winds, so I wanted to make sure that we were covered. All right, and what we've got on this end, I've got some D-hooks that are screwed into the framing of the house, into good headers, so they're good and strong. I've got one here, and I've got one to the outside. The reason I have the one to the outside is because when I have it up for, if it's going to be windier, if we're going to be out here earlier, that kind of thing, the ones to the outside are the ones that I use to pull it closer to the posts. So I'll put a little more length on this end. Now you notice, first there's a wire, and second, there's a spring. When I get a little bit further along, I'll show you what all that's about. I'm going to straighten this wire out just a little bit. Put it in where it belongs. There we go. A little extra strength never hurt anything. All right, so I've got the one side locked in on the outside. Now I'll go and do the other side. Then I have the exact same setup on this side. And you notice everything's adjustable. I wanted to make sure that no matter how I wanted to set it up, I'd be able to get there. The turnbuckles are for the fine adjustments. Well, you notice I still got a whole lot of mess going on, but it's coming together. So then all I do is put the rope through the pulley, and then I feed it down into the ratchet. Now I melted the end and I flattened it a little bit. That way it's easier to slide in. So once I get the rope over to this end, all I do is feed it through the pulley. And then down into the ratchet down here. I'll change the camera in a moment. First things first. All I'm going to do is take the ratchet up enough that it locks down on itself. I'll show you that. Okay, this is the ratchet. This is designed for going on the side of semi-flatbeds to hold their 2-inch straps to hold their load in place. You can use a bar on this side. You can use a socket or a wrench on this side. I found a landscaping nail works really well. So that's what I use. Let's go do the other side. All right, rope through the pulley. Down into the ratchet, which in this case is a very bad spot. So I'll fix that first. Then we just snug that up just enough that it doesn't unwrap. Okay. Now I'm looking at the sun sail, and I'm making certain that I don't over tighten one side too much. All right, now to bring it all up. All right. Let's go look at some springs here. Show you how I make my final adjustments. Now you notice it's still got a little sag in the center. When you look up at the springs, you see there's ever so slight of a gap. And that one's got a little bit more, but not much. So I'm going to take and come over here, and I'm going to tighten it some more. All right. Well, now that all of that's done, I have a good idea of how much rope I have left at the top. That's kind of what I pay attention to. You notice I have slightly less on one side than the other. We're talking only like a ½ an inch. Okay, and that's to get it centered up. But you notice most of the sag is gone. Now after it sits for a little while, stretches I should say, a little while, more of that sag will disappear and it'll hold up to a pretty good wind. And considering how big of a sail this is, it's actually saying something. So the only thing I've got left is reconnecting the wire to the solar panel for the lights. And I don't know if you noticed, but put lights all the way around the outside. So during the day it keeps the sun off of you. At night it's a nice area to just sit and spend time with people. Got the light that can either sit in the middle of the table or I can hang it if I want to. Works really well. Got another one that's over on the dining table there. But I'll go ahead and get that hooked up and we'll be all done. Well, it's all set up, but it's really hard to see that those lights are on. I don't know exactly how well it shows up in the camera, but probably not real well. Who knows? Maybe I'll turn the camera on this evening and show you. Welcome from the backyard. It's really nice out here. It's turned into a fantastic place to sit. The sun sail does a great job. Right now we're having pretty much record temperatures. We typically don't hit 3 digits all summer long. Normally the highest we'll see is 96, 97. This weekend we're going to hit 103 last I looked. I don't want to look again. The nice part about it is there's no humidity. Right now it's mid-90s. I've been out working in the sun, so I'm a little bit sweaty. But if I sit under this sun sail for 15-20 minutes, the breeze is extremely light right now. We're talking 1 or 2 miles an hour. Not even enough to move anything. So there isn't a breeze to cool me off, but being in the shade alone is so much nicer than being where we were for 3 weeks. we went up to Minnesota for a vacation. It's where our family is. We've got kids, grandkids. We spent 3 weeks traveling and up there. We spent 1 week traveling and we spent 2 weeks actually in Minnesota. Had a good time, but way too busy, very tired. I was trying to decide what I was going to do with this channel. My wife and I have been talking a lot about what we want to do with our future. She already works from home, so she can basically work from anywhere. We could travel, and she could still work her job, regular full-time job, never miss a beat. Me, not so much. Right now, all I'm doing is door dashing. I'm semi-retired, making money, but my income isn't vital. It's our spending money, basically, while our living money, food, anything that isn't a bill is basically what I make. We're thinking about what we want for our next RV. I would really like to get a motorhome. Our 2 cats travel with us. Obviously, they do not like being in the truck. We've already got a truck that would pull, well, we've got a 12,000 pound, 35-foot house on wheels, basically, that we towed up to Minnesota and back. It's pretty close to 13,000 pounds once we've got a little bit of water and our belongings in it. The truck pulls it fine. It just works a little bit going up hills. I'd really like to get an RV so we could have the cats inside with us. They can wander around, have their litter boxes, have their water, have their food. We can get up, go to the bathroom, take a nap, whatever needs to be done. Make a snack while we're going down the road, whatever it takes. That would be very nice to have. If we end up doing a little more full-time, it wouldn't be so bad having a 5th wheel, because we could basically go a week at a time. So we could travel from here, spend a day traveling, move into a slot in an RV park, stay there for a week. My wife could work. Hopefully I could work. And then the next week we could move to another spot. It's a thought. Who knows? Maybe even doing it more full-time and renting the house out. Who knows? We don't know. What I'd really like to do, since I didn't know what I wanted to do with this channel, that's why I named it Just Doing Stuff. I think there's a possibility that it might become a Just Doing Stuff wherever we happen to travel. I could review campgrounds, restaurants, attractions, that type of thing. I'm going to put up a short video, not a short video, about our trip to the Oz Museum in Kansas. I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, but it's basically an institution. Waiting for cars to pass. The majority of us grew up, the majority of us older folks grew up watching shows like that, and the old Disney, the stuff that you look at now and the animation's kind of sad and that kind of thing. But Wizard of Oz was on a different level. They put a lot of effort into making that movie. The technology behind it for the time was incredible. They didn't know very much. They didn't know how to do a lot of the effects that we just take for granted now. So I got a few clips in there that show some of the things that they did. During the tornado scene, right away in the movie, when the tornado is going towards the house, there's actually a movie within a movie within a movie. So they've actually got movies running in the background on top of each other, and then filming the event with those running in the background to create the effects that they create. It's really impressive how much time and effort went into making that movie. So I want to put up a short movie about our visit there. I kind of think that might be fun. to travel around and see what we see what we find. Uh, Maybe give people ideas on places they can go and things they can do. If you enjoy RVs, that could be a great way to, well, let me change that. I watch a lot of folks that RV around the country. A lot of them are full timers. The problem is, even though they give a small overview of areas that they're in and things that they do, they're not. I haven't found very many that are very concise. There are basically tourism channels where they go to a place and they show you everything that's there. I don't want to spoil it for you. I want to give you ideas for what you might want to do. So that's a thought that I have. If you have any feelings about that, let me know. We are planning on selling the RV we have right now, fifth wheel, and getting something new. We just need to figure out what. All right. Well, as long as it's nice and calm and quiet today, I think I'm going to take and grab the wheeler, throw some weed killer in it, and go around and spray the yard. Unfortunately, before I did all of the rock, I had had a good number of years where the weeds were able to just grow wild. They've seeded themselves well, and although every time I spray, I'm taking out more, I'm spraying them before they seed, I still get a lot of weeds. So the front yard is doing great, the backyard not so great, but it is far less than it used to be. So hopefully by next year, I won't have to spray once every 2 months or so. All right, I'm off to do more stuff around here. I think it's time to kill some weeds. Thanks for watching. See you next time.